Hello, everybody, and welcome to Contest of Speed. Contrary to what the I think our stream title is, it
Oh,
is the Americas Tier 2. It's not your fault, Al. I think Mitch was supposed to change it. But it is round three, it is Austria, and we are about to get started here in just a few moments. So thank you for joining us here on this rainy Wednesday evening of at least short qualifying here at the Red Bull Ring. And a rainy qualifying should make things interesting. I'd like to welcome Alp to the comms booth this evening. A first time debut here for Contest of Speed for him, of course. Former America's Tier champion and also not doing too shabby in the top European tier as well. Alp, thanks for hosting.
yeah, hello guys. Excited to be here. First time commentating, and yeah, hope it's a good race. It's intermediate conditions right now, and let's see who's out on track first. A few things to note before we start is that Neles has a race ban and DK has a qualifying ban, so yeah, unfortunately they won't be taking part in those sessions as a Mercedes heads out.
So it looks like we are missing Nellis, uh, and as well as Kill Bill, who I think is just away. But Bomb Tree, yes, the first one on track as intermediate conditions, and I talked to a few of these guys for not very long, a few minutes, and they were worried about what the rain could bring for the race. I don't think they had much practice, much experience, so it should really throw. For qualifying's sake, it could provide some upsets, a scrambled grid, and could provide an interesting run into turn one. Of course, we've seen a lot of carnage in America's Tier 2, with Baku last week being no exception. So it should be a very interesting qualifying, and who knows what type of times we can see in the wet.
Yes, I think America's Tier 2 has been mostly about not making mistakes and keeping it consistent, and I think that'll be the case today as well. And shall we go on board with a lap of Bomb Tree, as he's the first one out?
Let's go for it.
Okay, so heading into turn 1, it's a tricky braking zone, but you want to go as left as possible, even onto the curb. And since we have a long straight here, it's crucial to get the exit right, which he does. And heading into turn 2, you don't want to run deep here, as yeah, it's a tricky braking zone, but he goes all the way down to first gear, but unfortunately misses the apex. Now onto this straight, this corner you can brake turn 4, you can brake extremely late, and because the exit is not as important, and he gets the apex right, but runs a bit wide onto the grass. This has not been the cleanest lap so far from Bomb Tree, but yeah, he's kept it clean, and I think it will be a good banker.
I think for this level, for most of these guys in the wet, especially for Bomb Tree, you don't have very many tire tracks to follow for the racing line. It is just going to be about keeping it clean, and he's done that for the most part throughout the first two sectors. These final two corners, very high speed, high downforce, a lot of risk and reward as he gets a fairly clean exit out of the final corner, and he'll come across for a 1:15.1, which is pretty consistent, pretty good lap to start things out.
Yeah, I think that was a good one, and especially it's important to get that first banker right because it's so easy to invalidate, and he did that perfectly. So let's go on board with the McLaren Rikaka as he comes across the final corner, and I believe he's made a mistake because
He aborted this lap because his ERS was at running one for the last half of that lap. So I think
it said that Bomb Tree has been disqualified from the session for going the wrong way, but I don't know what's happened.
I think he's lost it or gotten out of the way at the top of the hill, and when he went back to come back on track at the exit of turn 2, I think he went perpendicular to the circuit for a little bit, and that's what's disqualified him. So I think that's just kind of an unfortunate glitch for him.
Yeah, that's a shame, and yeah, there's not much we can do about that.
Yeah, not much you could do. He goes from 115, which would have been probably a pretty good lap, to starting at the back of the field now.
As Porridge Power comes across the line, it was a very slidey lap and puts himself P1. It's slower than Bomb Tree's time, but since he's been disqualified, he can get P1. As Downfall comes across the line for P2, and we have Bodod coming across the line and takes provisional pole by a big margin.
He's got a clear second. Badhad, of course, had a strong showing in Brazil, and little bit of issues through Baku, but Burzy now. Wow, what a lap from Burzy early on. 1:14.6 as Kano follows right behind him for 1:14.8. So lap times are really just tumbling down.
Comes across the line and gets himself to P7, which is a strong lap for Messi, and Fatal, first man into the 1:13s.
So we're just going to continue to see the times tumble straight down.
So I have insider information that the race start is going to be dry, but it might rain at the end of the race. That'll be interesting to watch.
Yes, it surely will.
His downfall is 6 tenths up, and puts himself P5 with a 15.8.
Downfall's in a good spot. Of course, DK, we saw him retire in the pits. He's got a quality band, so he won't set a time.
Bodon also goes 6 tenths faster and puts himself to P2, so the track is getting quicker.
I think it's stopped raining at least.
As you can see in the pits, Andrew going on to softs. We might see a dry end to this quali session.
And take a lot of the fun right out of it. Juventus, I think, is on his way in. At least it says he's on a quick lap, but he hasn't been using any ERS.
As Fedor is about to start a lap. And let's go on board with the provisional pole sitter and see how he can get such a big margin. Oh, as he touches the grass.
Yeah, got a little bit wide into turn 1, and that's ruined his lap. He's got his teammate Juventus coming up, and he might be trying to get... He's going to give him a little bit of a slipstream into turn 2. Juventus hard on the brakes in turn 2. He shifts up early on the exit to get that better drive off the corner.
Something interesting to note was that he was using mode 0 as he was exiting turn 2, so that's interesting strategy to get good traction. And as Palin goes P2.
I could understand that strategy in the sense of if it was a dry moment, you know, you would be on the throttle, so you would need to save some ERS going to the line, maybe in a few corners. But because it's rainy, or at least slick, you probably would be able to still have ERS left if you left it on overtake throughout the lap.
As iFunnier goes 1.7 seconds quicker and up to the top 10.
They talk about iFunner, used to be Squishy Poop and has now changed his name. Juventus P1, so the two Red Bulls right now are ruling the Red Bull ring, both in the 113s.
Yes, and the track definitely seems to be dry enough at the moment. So let's go on board with Peyton, because I think he's on a lap. No, he's just about to start a lap. So, yeah, I believe he's coming back to the pits.
I think Grudrux King's on a lap right now, just exiting turn 2. And the Mercedes. Still on the intermediates. You guys in the pits that have set softs but haven't come out yet.
Yeah, as Grudrux goes by Juventus, who's going slowly, and I think if I was in Grudrux's position, I would pit and put it on a set of dries, because I don't see much point continuing this lap.
I mean, yeah. He's got a good time so far, 2.8 seconds.
DRS has been enabled.
And he'll get that to the run to the line.
Yeah, let's see what he can do. Goes P4. Good lap from Gru. And I believe who else is on a lap? I think is Stonewall on a lap? No, he's half a second down. Yeah, I
I
don't
think
think
it's
anyone's on a
just,
hot.
I think it's
Yeah,
tried out too much. Yeah, Andrew just went for an out lap and then came right back in on the inner, so I think it's dry tires. We
yeah.
haven't gotten anybody else out there yet. We will see them.
Downfall's out on soft, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. As Imran opts for mediums, so maybe he's thinking of the alternate strategy in the race.
This is it's an interesting one, especially considering the mediums will not have the rubber that the softs will, be considerably quicker, considering it's a drying track. So we'll see if Imran just maybe does a lap on him and then puts on the softs for one final run. But I don't know how well the alternate strategy works around Austria. I mean, we will probably see a safety car as well, which should benefit the soft runners, especially if it comes early in the race.
Yeah, if it's strongly timed, the alternate strategy can go terribly wrong, as we saw in EU1 earlier today, and Downfall getting a bit squirmy out of turn 1. But he manages to keep it clean. And let's see how much quicker he is in the first sector split. 8/10 already, so yeah. That's good stuff from Downfall, but I expect to see the times getting even quicker than that.
I got, Downfall really is, I think, the first guy to come out on softs. I think P-Dog is on a lap, just started one right behind him that should put together a pretty decent lap. But Downfall, I mean, everybody else blows their opportunity for a soft lap. Downfall has a chance to really be up the order.
He's 4 seconds up, so this is going to be a really good lap. As there's a yellow flag in sector 2, but that's just a Haas slowing down to let others go. And let's see what Downfall can do. Are we going to go into the 110s? Yeah, a 109.6. Yeah, let's see what P-Dog can do. I missed the sector 2 split, but since the track is drying, it should be even quicker. And through the last 2 corners, it's very easy to invalidate here, but P-Dog takes it strongly. And on the run up to the line, goes 2 seconds quicker, 2.3 seconds quicker. Good lap from P-Dog.
Definitely drying quickly. Bursey's got a little bit of a slipstream into turn 3 from a Renault.
Yeah, let's look at Bursey, our Baku winner. We'll be hoping to continue that today, but
there's a McLaren that's spun on the inside or stopped on the inside.
Yeah. I believe Bursey might be getting held up a bit by Imran here. And I think Imran is on
those mediums, yeah.
He's on a quick lap. So yeah, let's see what will happen. But Bursey, he's still going to get slipstream, so let's see whether this is Paul. Downfall goes even quicker. Imran goes P2 on mediums. And Bursey beats that by almost a second.
It looks like a few of these guys are just going to keep doing laps on their softs, which, I mean, will be setting better lap times, but you're also putting wear on those soft tires, which don't last too long. And considering it's a drying track, they are going to be wearing more than what they usually do. Is Andrew, who put together a great race at Baku, jumps to P1, 105.4.
What about Juventus on mediums as he comes up to the line? Top 3. That's impressive.
That is a great spot to be on mediums. It looks like it's starting to sprinkle again.
Maybe, but yeah, Esbada takes first position again. And I believe iFunner is about to finish his lap. Comes up to the line and yeah, goes P5.
Good spot for him. It is going to be pretty close, especially I think a lot of these guys won't have time to get another laps in, or it'll be pretty close. Although it doesn't take long to get around the circuit here at the Red Bull Ring, only about like minute 5, minute 6 in the quick end, minute 10, I think, on an out lap or an in lap. So
Kono's gone purple through Sector 2, and he's 5.8 seconds up, so let's see what Kono can do. Oh, he's pitting.
He's
So
backed out.
yeah, that's an interesting choice. And Juventus also coming into the pits. Imran is going again, and he's 3.5 tenths up on his medium time, so yeah, he can go even quicker perhaps as Roga Wing goes third place.
He's got no ERS though.
Yeah, that will be an issue. I think if I was in Imran's position, I would pit now and go out again when the track is rubbered in the most, but he chooses to continue, so this will be his last lap time. Comes up to the line now with little DRS, and yeah, improves up to P5. As iFunner starts another lap, and I believe Porridge Power is on a lap.
Yeah, Fatal's about to start a lap, is on his out lap right now. I think Fatal, Stonewall, Seth, and the two McLarens right now are a little bit underqualified at the moment. They should be coming through and potentially setting really decent times as we get closer to the end of the session.
Yes, Porridge puts himself up to P10, which is good. Fatal's on his out lap and will be one of the first ones to start his final lap, so yeah.
Stonewall Seth goes fourth.
So heading into turn 1, Fatal uses the curbs, maximizes them, and now on the run up to turn 3, technically it's turn 2, but there's that little kink, and he's 1.5 seconds up already, so yeah, let's see what Fatal can do. He's certainly been one of the stars of this tier so far.
Yeah, he had a great race in Baku and on the track after some of Berzy's penalties had it won, but of course Berzy had the penalties removed, so he ended up taking the win in the points and currently leads the point standings in this tier. But after DNFing race 1 for Fatal, being 4th in points after a 2nd place finish is still a pretty good spot to be in, and he's got plenty of time to make his way through and potentially win this championship. This is going to be a flying lap for sure.
4.8. First man into the forest. That is good, as Kono now starts his lap, and who else is on a lap? I think Berzy J is on a lap, so yeah, let's see how much he's up doing. Oh no, he's invalidated, so he's backed out of it.
Everybody's starting a lap. Badha just started one. Andrew started one.
Yeah,
Juventus is invalidated.
Invalid. I believe Kono's on a valid lap, so yeah, let's see what he can do to put himself further up the grid.
He was running purple sectors not too long ago, but then backed out. And he's right now on pace to do probably about a 107.
Session's over, so these are the last laps for everyone. So unfortunately, I don't think Juventus will have time to put a soft run in. Oh, as
Fatal comes across the line 104.5. He improved again.
That's
Kano
impressive.
goes 105.7.
As Downfall is coming across the line to go P14.
Here comes Badha. Does he have anything? No.
No, in the forest,
went
but
faster.
not enough.
Yeah.
Time for Berzy. He's half a second up. Let's see if the Baku winner can do something special here in Austria. 7th gear through the penultimate corner, but he runs wide.
He's invalidated. Yeah. That's too bad, because he would have at least been, I think, in the top 3 rows, at least 6th. But he's went for it all and lost out, and now we'll start 10th.
Yes, and I believe that's everyone.
Yeah.
So Fatal takes both by nearly half a second.
Ball. Sun's out, says Jacob. Sun's out, guns out in the Austrian Alps. With Alp. As Fatal, Bodhot, and Andrew is fresh. Yeah, top three. But Fatal just an incredible time trying to get the win taken away from him after the fact with some penalties being removed for Bursey, and he doesn't want to have that happen again. So doing his work in the top three. Other interesting places: Imran and P9 on the mediums, and Juventus outside the top 10 in P11. So Bursey in P10, a little mixed up. P Dog did a great job in P6, Seth in P5, Rogue P4, and
We also didn't really touch on this, but one of the quickest guys in the steer, DK, has a quali ban, so yeah, he'll
so
be
he'll be
starting at the
starting.
back.
Yeah,
At the
he'll be
back.
starting P17.
Along with Bombtree, who unfortunately got disqualified.
And Bontree really set a pretty decent time for what the track was, but unfortunately, the game disqualified him. I think for trying to let people by. So. All right, we'll see who presses X first. Don't have Kill Bill to do it
Yeah,
this week, so
everybody's been good so far. So let's get everyone's predictions for the race in the chat, and yeah, what are your predictions, Perry?
Hmm. I wouldn't necessarily just say predictions, but I think Fatal should be on for a good race. I'm worried about Chaos into turn 1 and turn 2 because of kind of the wet run we haven't had. If people haven't practiced yet, I mean, it was kind of a strange qualifying. So yeah, we'll see. But I think Fatal, as long as he gets a good clean start, he should be able to control his own race.
Yeah, but even if there's an incident in turn one, it doesn't mean the end of it. We saw Kauza today collide with myself at turn one earlier today in tier one and come back and win the race. So yeah, never give up as Fatal leads them away. Let's see what tire choices everybody's gone with. So interestingly, almost everyone outside the top 10 apart from DK has elected to go with the soft compound. I would
Yeah, and
expect more.
that's yeah. I agree with you in that. Yeah, there would have been uh, at least a few guys to go with the mediums, but I think it also has to do with the way the last two races have been. I mean, we've had safety cars, or VSCs. Is Juventus just lost it exiting turn 3 in the background? I'm not sure. No, it wasn't on the stream, but he's lost it on the outside wall. Now it's turned back around. He hit the inside wall, so he's having some
Yeah.
struggles on this outlap, but. Yeah, I think everybody's expecting a safety car at some point this early on.
Yeah, we saw the last two races full of safety cars, but yeah, let's see when it will come out, if it will come out this time. And yeah, Austria, it's a track where you can't really break away as the leader because the DRS is so powerful combined with slipstream, so I think that'll be important for Fatal to do that immediately and yeah, get clear of Badod. Or
And yeah, that and pit strategy. Maybe pitting 2 laps earlier than the guy in front of you on softs puts you a place or two ahead in that train. And like you said, it's really tough to break the train, but it's also even still if you get a guy who can defend well into turn 2. I mean that takes away a lot of overtaking opportunities. As it looks like we're ready to go, getting lined up. The
yeah,
Austrian Grand Prix.
let's see who'll win in the mountains and as we're waiting for the 5 red lights. And here we go. It
Oh, it's a
looks like
great
Fatal
start
gets
from
a good
Fatal.
start. Andrew is a bit slow off the line, the two Williams going side by side into turn one, but Bodod
Oh,
breaks really
Bodhad,
late.
a lot of confidence.
Yeah, they're going side by side as everybody seems clean in the background. As the
Yeah,
Alpha and Red
surprisingly
Bull,
enough, no winglets on the exit of turn 1. Now into
Fatal
turn 2.
breaks
Oh,
very
Ferrari
late.
breaks way late.
The two Williams are still side
P-Dog.
by side, but I think Bodod can actually take the lead.
Oh, in the background
Yeah,
it's
there's a Renault and a
Imran.
Haas going off.
Yeah, Imran's lost out big
Fatal
time.
holds on but touches the grass, so Boddard back into the lead, the Australian leading the Austrian Grand Prix, and Roga Wing putting pressure on Fatal now. And
That's a big mistake from Fatal. With
yes,
Badhad, it's good clean driving for him, and he's been opportunistic since turn one and has the lead. Back through the order, we're still pretty much all together except Imran,
the
who I
biggest
think
loser is
either,
Imran,
yeah.
dropping down 9 positions on the medium tire but doesn't seem to have any damage. So yeah, Rogue going
Oh,
for a move into
Rogue,
turn 1.
don't, oh, this camera angle is rough on my
Yeah,
end. Fatal holds on.
around the outside, well done to him. As the
Oh,
two
now
Williams
then,
are going side by side again, great stuff from the teammates. But Rogue should be able to hold on to Andrew as Porridge Power pits at the end of lap 1.
Kano's lost out on a couple spots there. Further back down the field,
Yeah,
I think got passed by
Grugok skiing with the
Ruger Singh,
dive.
Burzy,
Um, Burzy,
Juventus.
wheel to wheel. This will be close heading into, and Gru gets the
Burzy's
move done.
backed out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I would say very respectful so far, though, out of, I think, everybody that we've seen. Haven't really seen too many forced passes, any major issues.
It's
And
quite clean
gonna
so
get
far.
the DRS train in just a moment.
Yeah, as Bardock can't really pull away from Fatal, so it'll be interesting to see what he can do. As I believe, I just saw, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just saw a drop of rain, or the animation that happens when it starts to rain. So that could be a
I'm not
factor
quite
later in the
sure.
race.
The top 9 all have DRS.
Oh, Rogue gets a 3-second penalty, has a look down the inside of Fatal. As yeah, we can see the DRS train happening and nobody really going for an overtake here. Juventus has made up 4 positions, so he's one to watch out in this race. And
DK
as well.
Yeah, just made a move up to P12 down the inside of downfall into turn 3, so he's got some work to do, but he's got some pace early on those mediums. The softs, really about lap 5, they'll really start falling off, and that's when DK will be pushing. Look at it, I mean, DK, 12th place, is only 8 seconds off the leader.
Burzy also gets a penalty, so that's not good for him, but Fatal only 2/10 behind Boddard. He might go for a move here. He's spent a bit of his ERS, but I don't think he's close enough. Let's see what happens. No, chooses to tuck in right behind him. And Juventus is close to P-Dog Peyton. And P-Dog goes deep. Oh! Juventus touches him. Loses a bit of momentum, but all fair racing as P-Dog has a look at Seth into turn 4. Wheel to wheel with the Ferrari and Toro Rosso, but yeah, P-Dog makes the move stick up to P5.
Pretty good move for P-Dog. I was looking at Fatal and Badhad, and Fatal's still right on the back of Badhad, but they talked about it in the post-race interview with Fatal, and that he didn't run a low downforce setup at Baku, and I feel like he doesn't have a low downforce setup at Austria, which isn't as big of a deal, but I mean, down the straight lines as bomb tree is off. He pit, actually.
Yeah.
He's on a fresh set of mediums, so...
I believe Seth has made a mistake because he's lost a lot of time to Juventus. And Juventus seems to be on fire here. Overtaking a lot of people after starting P11. And goes around the outside into turn 3. This is going to get spicy. Wheel to wheel, but P-Dog gets the exit.
And the DRS.
That's correct, yeah. Juventus got the move done too early, and let's see who can break the latest.
Both don't have any ERS left.
As P-Dog holds on, and Juventus only 16% ERS, so yeah, that's not the best for him. Meanwhile, his teammate is saving ERS behind Boddard, and yeah, I don't think he is choosing to overtake you. He knows he can save his DRS and wait until the pit stops where he can possibly get an undercut.
Oh, Andrew just went way wide and got
Yeah.
a 3-second penalty last turn.
Yeah, luckily P-Dog is 2 seconds behind him, so it's not too big of an issue for him, but he would have not wanted to get that penalty, as the top 3 are still quite close.
Juventus has P-Dog now into turn 2.
Let's see if he can do
P-Dog defends, but Juventus, gets him on the straight before the turn. So a nice move for Juventus.
But now
Now
P-Dog
he's got to
will
defend
get
the
DRS.
inside.
Yeah, both running low ERS. And I think P-Dog just chooses to tuck in right behind. And the top 3 still continuing on the DRS train.
A little bit of a breakaway. It only took about 4 or 5 laps.
Yeah, Andrew has lost the DRS after his mistake at the last corner. As Bomb Tree, his day seems to be getting even worse as he gets another penalty. But yeah, Fatal is very close heading into turn 1. Can he do it right here? Looks to the inside. Goes for it, but it's just a little look. Not much else, but with the DRS, he might be able to go for a move here. And let's see if he can take the lead of the race. Oh, goes down the inside. No.
Closer.
Bottas
Oh,
makes
but
a
Bottas
mistake. A bit deep.
It runs a bit wide. Great racing from the top 3.
Very fair as Burzy gets past Stonewall and heading into turn 4.
Fatal gets him into turn 3. Oh, but locks up. Oh,
And
but
he
Fatal
holds
gets a
on.
move done.
Yeah, after 7 laps, the Red Bull's back in the lead. And Rogue also
Oh,
looking for a
Rogue!
move.
Wow!
Ooh.
Oh, that was
On the grass.
a very bold move from Rogue, but I think a little bit too bold. I don't think
Yeah.
Bodhad was expecting it, but didn't quite turn into him. I think Rogue just apexed too early.
Very respectful from Bottas, always leaving the space. And yeah, great to see this in AM2. But now the question is going to be, can Fatal pull away? As Juventus now sets the fastest lap and he's in the DRS of Andrew. But saying that, he's lacking ERS, so yeah. He needs to start saving that. Oh, it's Fatal.
Oh, Fatal, yeah.
I think he made a mistake at turn 1.
Oh, Bodhad around the outside. Fatal gives him space. Oh, and Fatal gets the inside and the DRS, so it'll be awfully difficult for Bodhad to hold it around the outside.
And yeah, he should get the move done, but Bodhad, can he get the exit? No, he cannot. So yeah, Fatal holds on to the lead. And so we're getting closer to the pit window. We can technically pit now and make the mediums last right until the end, but do they want to do that? I'm not sure.
I think it's a good strategy to pit as early as possible. I think lap 9 is right about the Goldilocks zone. So Andrew again runs. Rogue actually runs way wide. Exit of the final corner.
Yes.
I'll say you said Bodhad has to leave the space. Imran is he's off and without a front wing end plate.
His race hasn't gone the best so far, but yeah, there's still hope for him if there's a safety car or something.
So we've had 9 laps without a safety car.
Yes.
Which is a new record for this tier, but these guys have, it's kind of crazy how far they've come after that first race in Brazil. These guys, a lot of them, they've been leaving space. They've been having some great battles on track at front and midfield. So, I mean, you look at really about the top 12 or so, 13 guys within 20 seconds of the leader still. So that's a pretty good sign from a competitive class.
Juventus seems to be the fastest on track right now. He's immediately catched up to Andrew and hopes to get past as Andrew slides a bit through the penultimate corner. So let's see what Juventus can do. Heading into turn 1, brakes on the curb but misses the apex slightly. Andrew also has the RS though, so I'm not sure whether that'll be the best for him. As Barda is not close enough to make a move on Fatal. Yeah, everybody just seems to be following the DRS train at the moment. As Rikaka is making a move on Kano, I think, runs very wide. Both of them run very
Oh,
wide.
Kano's in the grass, yeah.
Yeah, and this is going to
Oh,
allow
now
DK to make it 3
DK, he's gonna
wide.
try it 3 wide into turn 3.
As Kano
Can you
backs
make the
out,
mediums?
Rikaka breaks very late.
Oh my. They've survived through turn 3 side by side. I think Arkaka should keep the position.
Ooh,
No!
DK.
DK around the outside,
outside.
breaking late.
Move of the day so
And makes the
far.
moves. Yeah, move of the day. Double overtake and 3 turns on the medium tires and fought his way up to the top 10.
Juventus is pulling alongside Andrew, heading into turn 1, but let's see if he's gonna break here or no. He goes
First
for
pit stops.
Yeah, oh, Imran is retired.
Imran's retired
that's
in the pits.
Yeah.
Yep.
So Stonewall going for the
Seth
undercut.
and Krugerson both
As
on the
Barda
mediums.
takes the lead. I've missed that. They're wheel to wheel.
A fatal again with DRS. And
Heading
has
into
the
turn
inside
4.
into turn 3.
Locks up, but manages to keep the car on the apex and back into the lead. This has been a great battle between the Alpha and the Red Bull.
Oh, great battle in the background. The Williams
Yeah,
are
the
going
Williams.
after it for third, and Andrew's through.
Let's see if there's a bit of team games here, as maybe Rogue can back up Juventus and let Andrew go away.
Oh, Juventus, no, he's going for it at the top of the hill. And he
Around the
has a
outside.
Rogue's. Oh, that's because Rogue's going into the pit, so he got on the binders early to get slowed down, and got the pit entry line, which is very early. But he did it as the stewards, the admins have instructed. So
Oh,
Rogue.
Botard's lost it. I was about to say he got a good run out of turn 1. I was on board with him. That is so unfortunate for Botard. He's driven fantastically.
Lost front wing, and it's a safety car.
That. Oh, that is not going to help. Who was it? Rogue, who's just pitted. Yeah, I don't think that'll help him.
It won't. It won't help Rogue or Seth or
Indeed,
Kruger's King as Porridge has a drive-through.
That is unfortunate. Yeah.
But it does help Juventus, the second Red Bull, and Andrew, and of course the leader Fatal.
Though. So Juventus needs to back off a bit to not get double stacked behind his teammate.
That's an interesting strategy. Maybe Juventus would be better off, I don't know, even pitting the second lap around for the safety car.
It might. Fatal should pit now. Let's see if anyone crosses the
Does.
white lines.
Yeah, Juventus is in as well. P-Dog.
Barda also in. Bursey following him in. DK, is he gonna pit or stay out on the mediums?
He's staying out, it looks like. Yeah, he'll stay out. Everybody's following the pit lane so far, so that's a good sign.
Yeah, that's great news. So DK, I believe, is going to take the lead of the race on mediums. So yeah, let's see what he can do.
Juventus has put on another set of softs.
So does that
So is
indicate
Andrew.
Rain might be on his way then. So yeah, that is interesting. Arkaka puts on hards. On the contrary. So Rogue hasn't lost as badly as I thought he would. Because yeah, I had a similar thing in EU1 today where I dropped off massively when the safety car came at the wrong time. But yeah, Rogue has done well to stay P4.
It's worked out pretty well for him. There's been quite a few guys that have gone on to another set of softs, so it is interesting to see how long it is until the rain. Oh boy, the
two Williams and
about drives into the back of Andrew. It is interesting to see when this rain will come and see kind of how long the softs will last compared to these mediums. I mean, I think right at the start the softs will be, Andrew should be able to get right by Fatal and DK.
Yes, that is going to be interesting. This also puts Bomb Tree back in the race, who's now exiting the pits on a set of mediums. So yeah, let's hope his race goes the opposite way compared to how it started.
It's pretty crazy how we haven't really had. I mean, we've had one retirement in the pits, and then Bodhod, who just lost it into turn one attempting a move, but that caused a safety car. That's just kind of surprising. I mean, it did put a little winglet onto the track, but you know, it wasn't really a big incident.
So if there's rain coming, that puts DK in a very good spot. On mediums, he can extend them thanks to the safety car. Oh, Kano gets a 10-second penalty for exceeding track limits. I wonder how he did that, but that's going to hurt him quite a bit.
It's the same penalty I think Brizzy got removed last week to end up eventually getting the win. So,
there's a racing point on the grass, and porridge off. So there must have been some sort of incident under the safety car. So what is going to be interesting at the restart is whether Andrew can get past these guys quickly and pull away on his fresh softs before the rain comes. Same with Juventus, he was on fire earlier in the stint. And I'm not sure whether the safety car will come in this lap because Bomb Tree hasn't catched up fully. Yeah, we're going on for another lap.
it does feel a little ominous. Like we are. I don't know how you feel, but whenever you're standing in the country air and you feel like you can smell rain coming, I feel like I can kind of smell rain coming at the Austrian circuit. Hypothetically speaking, I don't think it'll stay dry. I think we'll probably see rain in another 10 minutes or so, and that's what Mitch is saying in the chat as well. So this might be a great strategy for those on soft tires, but
and the question is whether the rain will come hard enough, because if you remember Tier 2 yesterday, the rain came, but like it did not get harsh enough for the intermediates for 5-6 laps. So yeah, that'll be interesting. As Bodhod, despite his mistake, the safety car it caused sort of saved him the race because he's still in the top 10 and he has a chance to get back up. So I'm interested to see how he does.
It's really one of those Juventus, how he hit the wall at Baku and pretty much caused his own safety car that caught him back up and eventually got him on a podium. So
DK's the only one that hasn't stopped yet. So he has to do that as the safety car comes in this lap.
DK letting the safety car getting its pace, and so far so good. These guys will be really pretty stacked, and it will be a...
The medium runners need to be careful here in Arcaco and Hards because the tires get quite cold behind the safety car, and the fast 2 last corners they'll get slidey at the back. His DK is still going slowly.
He's gonna bolt. Gone. Yep.
I think
bolts right at the exit of the last corner, and a pretty good jump, but the gang's still right with him.
Everybody keeping it clean at the restart so far. And the Juventus has run wide.
Run wide. P-Dog's through.
And Bodhod is retired. Oh no. What has happened there? Has he lost it at the exit of turn 1 again? That is... Yeah, Bodhod's race hasn't gone well.
It's on the outside of the track. Didn't really get a good view of it, but it almost feels like he either ran wide, tried to rejoin, and then got forced back off, or
the two
something
Williams.
To that measure.
The two Williams
touch. Yeah, Rogue went for a little bit too aggressive of a move, and P-Dog has the look, but doesn't really have anywhere to go.
Kano and Arcaca side by side, and Arcaca struggling on those hards as Kano gets past. But P-Dog is very close heading into the penultimate corner, but decides to stay back. And let's go back to the front with Fatal as DK cuts the corner and gets a 3-second time penalty. And I see rain starting.
Rain is already here, and Andrew's already all over on the back of DK. This will mean an interesting second half of the race.
Let's see.
Andrew, yeah, it's going to drag race Fatal to the outside, but Fatal's got the slipstream from DK. Tries around the back. Outside.
Ooh, this is very close for the net lead. But Andrew gets the grip on the soft tires and gets the move done. And can't retaliate, from what I can see. Let's see how quickly the rain comes now.
This is going to be quite slick, especially for, I think, the medium runners. They haven't had time to get their tires up to temperature, or at least not a lot of time to do so. And could be pretty tricky, especially back here in traffic, dirty air through the second sector.
That is Fatal is all over the back of Andrew, and the rain is intensifying, but DRS has still been enabled.
Top 6 within 2 seconds.
That's true. And let's see whether DK will get attacked this time. Oh, Porridge has been disqualified from the session.
Oh, he's
ignored
the drive-through.
As Andrew takes the lead around the outside, I don't think DK can do much about that. But runs deep.
Tried to do so.
Could this give Fatal an opportunity to get back into second place as Juventus and Rogue going wheel to wheel at the back.
Rogue has lost out on 2 spots
DK
there.
and Andrew, they've touched. Fatal takes the lead.
Oh, they're going to be 3 wide. 3 wide. P-Dog tries around the outside.
Rogue
DK's really way off the pace.
So
what a great move for Juventus.
Yeah. So I think what happened there was DK went in hot into turn 4 and tagged Andrew at the back. Both lost momentum, and that allowed Fatal to swoop by. As Juventus has a look into the last corner. Great racing here in AM2 so far. And now Rogue making a move on DK into turn 1.
And Kano's further back at the pack. Kano's going on to the intermediate tires.
Bursey might make a double move here. Let's see how this ends. 3 wide into turn 2.
Oh, 3 wide again.
As all of them
Rogue's gone way deep.
And that's hurt Bursey, and I think it might be the time for intermediate tires because people seem to be missing their braking points now. And 3 wide again. DK runs deep, and that's going to allow Rogue and Stonewall to get by. And even Bursey round the outside, can he do it?
Yeah, he's got it. I just don't think DK has any grip on those mediums in the rain.
17 lap old mediums, and that will hurt him as Fatal.
Oh, Juventus and P-Dog are side by side going into the second to last corner, and Juventus gets P3.
Yeah, Juventus has had great race pace so far, and nobody else seems to be coming in for Inters apart from Kano, and who's struggling a bit. Can't really get the gap. Somebody spun. P-Dog. He spun.
P-Dog, yeah, he's lost it on the curb. I think on the exit he's lost his front wing. These portions of it.
Bursey and Stonewall.
Dangerous reacts.
Yeah, Bursey up to P5.
He's got back on and then back in the grass.
Stonewall Seth completely missed his braking zone. Everybody going deep. DK's spun. Juventus has also spun. What has happened here? Everybody is struggling for grip.
I think the tires are officially gone
Andrew
now.
and Fatal side by side. Amazing stuff here in AM2.
Oh boy. Andrew's got the lead. Wow, just unbelievable scenes in the last 4 seconds.
I think it's definitely time to pit now. The rain is intensified. You have Fatal and Andrew both heading into the pits. DRS has been disabled.
Off, yep.
Oh, Fatal goes outside the white line, so that could be an issue for him later. Will anybody opt to stay out?
I don't think so.
Yeah,
In
everybody's on.
fact, I don't think it's too big of an issue considering the slick conditions in the pit lane. I think as long as you get the entry right at this type of weather, probably okay.
And
everybody's in. Where will Kano end up? Oh,
Rogue is getting held up
struggling
in the pits because of his teammate. He had to double stack. The rain came so early. As Phil gets a great pit exit, and he might make a move actually, heading into turn 3. Down the inside, is he close enough? They're all very tentative in these conditions. Still side by side.
Versy's really won out up to third now.
Yeah, into turn 4, Fatal breaks later, but has he gone deep? Andrew can't get the exit, and Fatal leads.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning Kano, who came in, maybe 2 laps too early, has now jumped from, I think, 9th when he pitted to 5th.
Yeah, the rain really poured down all of a sudden and caught everyone out. We saw Juventus spin, DK spin, Stonewall Seth go deep, and speaking of going deep, Bomb Tree has gone very deep. And all this has allowed Bursey and Gru, I think, to be the winners of that. Let's look at the
Bursey, Gru, Kano, I think Downfall's won out in a few spots.
If you look at the position change, Bursey's gone up 7 places, and same with Downfall, so well done to them. As Gru lines up a move around the outside, heading into turn 1. And up into the top 5. But, oh, he runs wide. Wheel to wheel, but Kano now back into P5. And Juventus, unfortunately, in the fight earlier, now all the way back down to nearly last and gets P13 from Messi.
Yeah, it's hard to believe. I mean, the Alphas had a great run in the first race right now, neither in the points, with one retired. And the Red Bulls, obviously Fatal in the lead, but I think right now the team that's done the best so far has been the Williams, who Rogue and Andrew have been up front nearly the entire race, battling for at least third.
Yeah, as iFunner and Stonewall Seth, they're wheel to wheel, but iFunner backs out of it. I think he's struggling in these conditions, because car seems to be getting slidey, and that allows Bomb Tree to get into it.
Gru and Kano are still having it out for 5th, and I think Kano's tires are a little bit cooked because they had to do so many laps in the semi-wet. Gru's been trying to get past this entire lap, and now again tries to move down the inside into turn 1. It's a little tap. Kano didn't give him very much space, but Gru didn't really lose out on too much ground.
DK gets past Messi. Will Gru send it down the inside here? No, he thinks better of it.
Oh, Bursey's been passed for P3.
Oh, Gru loses the back end. Holds it very well, I must say. But that's going to cost him a position to Downfall. And yeah, Bursey has lost the podium position to Rogue. Gru and Downfall now wheel to wheel through the middle sector.
We just got that spot back. It's interesting, Stonewall's been wheeling and dealing up to P9. He's made up a few spots.
Up front, Fatal pulling away from Andrew. And Bursey staying with Rogue. No DRS in these conditions, yeah. No easy way. It's all have to be done on pure driving.
Yeah, and really wet weather racing turns into who can make the least amount of mistakes, especially at a track like Austria where, it's very, very difficult to really put in laps a lot quicker than those around you.
Interestingly, Bursey and Kano are nearly on 100% ERS, compared to Rogue, who's on 37. so that could come in handy later on. P-Dog also attacking Bomb Tree. Oh, he
Oh, and
touches him.
he just, excuse me, please, I'd like that spot.
Yeah, it was a
We'll
very light
take
tap.
P10.
Yeah, I think the race has stabilized a bit here, and I think Fatal might have been running a wet setup because we saw him struggle on the straights early on, and now in the rain he's just pulled away. Juventus now in his fight back, getting close to Bomb Tree. Runs wide at the penultimate corner. That might be a warning for him. As DK also getting close to iFunner.
Hearing reports that the rain's just going to get heavier in the next 5 minutes, so
That
it
will make it
might even
interesting.
turn into a pretty wet session. Ooh, Juventus.
DK makes the move down the inside, but can't get it slowed down. iFunner gets the switchback. Yeah. So if the rain is going to get heavier, do the drivers stay out on intermediates or put on wets? It's going to depend on how heavily it's going to rain in the next few
Yeah,
laps.
you could see a situation where, where we had all those guys losing in turn 2. If it gets wet enough, I mean, these inters won't grip, hardly at all. So, could see a moment where quite a few guys making mistakes all of a sudden.
That is correct. The closest battle on track right now is still DK and iFunner. But DK seems to be very quick, but when he goes for the overtake, he seems to make mistakes and misses braking points. He needs to be a bit more patient in my opinion and go for safer moves. So now he has another chance into turn 1. Has a look. Oh, iFunner runs deep. And DK gets his position. A bit off track, but still fine. As Juventus and Bomb Tree side by side. Into turn 3. Bomb Tree on the curb. Oh, Juventus goes onto the grass, but holds on.
That Fatal keeps extending that gap. No, 3 seconds. So maybe Fatal had a little bit more of a hybrid setup, leaning wet setup that he's been able to use to get such an advantage once it started to come down. I mean, we saw earlier how he was having difficulty past people in the straights. Now it seems like that extra downforce is paying off.
Yeah, the battles for the final podium spot in P5 are still very much on. Guru putting the pressure on Kano and Burzy. He might go for a move here on Rogue, but I think he's a bit too far back.
Juventus and Bomb Tree into turn 1.
Juventus thinks better of it, but Bomb Tree runs wide again.
This is his chance, I think.
Yeah,
Juventus can get the better run. Bomb Tree gonna lean outside. He's got to be able to slow it down and keep the inside for this next corner.
let's see if he can get the traction, which he does. As Kano and Guru are wheel to wheel, but Kano holds on. The drivers still seem to be doing fine on intermediates at the moment, so yeah, it'll be interesting to see when the rain gets heavier.
Burzy looking for the final podium spot. Trying to get a little bit closer than he was the last few moments with Rogue. Which Rogue, I think, took the spot once it started coming down a little heavier, so...
Burzy struggling a bit with traction out of turn 1, but he's a bit closer this time. Can he go for the dive? No, he stays behind. What about Gru?
He's apexed it perfectly.
Ooh,
Oh, he's going to have a great run into turn 3.
gets great traction. Rogue blocks the inside.
He might need to send it. Might need to get the elbows out if he wants to spot this
He
lap.
licks the stamp
He's
and
gonna.
sends it.
Oh, he's gonna slide, but Rogue gives him a plenty of space and pretty much lets him have the spot.
Yeah, a
That's a
drift
great.
overtake.
Yeah, great slide job there from Burzy. Almost dirt tracking it into turn 3.
P-Dog gets past Stonewall. Is there still wheel to wheel heading into turn 4? But I think P-Dog's got the move done. Just 7 laps to go in Austria. Oh, Grugark's King. He's lost it. At the start of the final sector, he's on the grass. I'm not sure if he has front wing damage.
Doesn't look like it, but he's definitely trying to be cautious
He's coming
on
into
his
the pits.
re-entry.
So
Oh, nope.
his teammate passes
Doesn't
him.
look like it.
Yeah, he stays out. Rogue still staying with Burzy in the fight for the final podium spot. I'm not sure about the penalty situation, but I believe Burzy has 1 penalty, so that might cost him at the end. The Red Bull of Juventus now getting close to the sister car. Around the outside, in the rain. Stonewall not going to give it up easily.
Yeah, so
Never mind. Yeah.
yeah, just going through penalties. Andrew has a
Bomtree's
3-second
lost it.
penalty.
He's reversing back. Yeah, sorry for interrupting.
You're good. I think Andrew, Burzy, and Rogue each have 3 seconds. Fatal is one of the only front runners without. He's just got 1 warning, so 2-spell award right now looks like our leader. Got another yellow in the 2nd sector, as iFunner has made a mistake and is now back into P15. Looking on board iFunner at the moment. Has changed his name from Squishy Poop to iFunner, which I think in one hand is trying to be more serious, but on the other hand, I will miss Squishy Poop for sure, so.
Yeah, it was a unique name.
It was a great, unique and great name that no one was ever going to touch in at least this generation of contest to speed drivers to say. Yeah, if we get F's in chat for Squishy Poop as the name, that would be great.
The race seems to stabilized a bit.
Yeah, things have cooled down. I will, pull out Kano, great run in P5 at the moment. Downfall, some nice points in P6 at the moment with Arkaka. Again, trying to get some points, but it's interesting to see how Juventus has battled back to get in the points. He could potentially, if things go very well, steal a few more points, but he's got a few seconds to make up with only 5 laps left.
The rain seems to be getting heavier now, but yeah, speaking of Juventus, I think his issue so far in this tier has been what I've been talking about earlier, the consistency. He seems to be very fast, but makes mistakes at the wrong time, unfortunately.
iFunner's taking a little stroll through the grass, but has continued on.
Crew gets a penalty. As Arkaka is still chasing Downfall, seems to be better in these conditions than in the dry, so he might possibly be running a wet setup. Juventus has spent all of his DRS trying to chase down P-Dog. Yeah.
Well, he's going to have a little time to catch, I think, Downfall and Arkaka, setting up for a battle with Arkaka, slowly reeling in Downfall as the laps count down now, working lap 31, I believe they are.
Yeah, Rogue also not letting Burzy go away in these conditions. Fatal out front has dominated the wet stint, pulling out a 5-second gap.
It is a tough race so far for DK, though. I mean, he had the quali band and he worked his way up front, but now back there in P12 still hasn't been able to put much together since he's fallen down.
Yeah, the biggest movers in this race have been Downfall up 8 positions and Burzy up 7 positions. DK made a great comeback, but unfortunately, that lap of chaos, when the rain suddenly came down, has put him down to P12 as Juventus is making he's closing up on P-Dog, but can't make the move.
And I think if Juventus maybe had an extra lap or two, could maybe battle for 6th, but I just don't think he'll have the time. But P-Dog runs a little bit wide, I think, into turn 9.
Juventus also gets the fastest lap point at the moment, as he's still in the top 10. Arkaka is close to Downfall, so let's see if the McLaren can get himself into the top 6. And it's definitely heavy wet conditions right now. You can see how cautious Arkaka is into turn 1. What about Juventus?
Yeah. It's going to make it difficult for any move to be done, really, is what the track is. Because once the Inters get off the racing lines, Juventus goes for a dive.
Very close with P-Dog, but he holds it around the outside. Something I've noticed is that Juventus is struggling for traction out of turn 2. But he sends it down the inside. Who can get the better exit? It's
P-Dog got a little wide in the grass on the exit.
Juventus gets it.
That's gonna. Yep. So Juventus earned a few more points back. He's only 8/10 behind the McLaren of Arkaka.
Juventus can technically get himself up to P6 now if he's quick with his moves, but there's only 3 laps left.
I think Juventus's best hope was that Arkaka and down would be a little bit closer. Oh, Juventus runs way wide and it got pushed behind from P-Dog.
Yep.
I think Juventus was overcooking it anyways, and P-Dog just followed him wide.
They went flying into turn 1 as Arkaka now tries to make a move on Downfall, but can't make it stick. P-Dog goes deep. Juventus cuts the corner and gets the penalty. They're still going to be side by side. Or now, P-Dog. Yeah, he's really lost out here, down to P10.
I think P-Dog might have let Juventus through, thinking that that was his fault into turn 1. Now he goes deep in Seth and right behind the Toro Rosso.
Conditions getting tricky now as the track gets even wetter. Drivers struggling, and the
that
Inters
does
also.
prevent. Yeah, the Inters are going to be difficult. That does prevent Juventus from, I think, potentially getting P7 and P6.
Yes. Yeah, so with the Inters, 15 laps, they're going to be near puncture territory. Because they don't last that long, as P-Dog and Stonewall Seth still going wheel to wheel. So who do you think has been the driver of the day so far? Let us know in the chat. I don't know who it would be, honestly, because there's been a lot of good drives, but there hasn't been a standout for me, in my opinion.
I think Burzy's position gained late, Downfall as well, who's had, I think, P6 is a great position for Downfall, considering this is his only really 3rd league race that he's been in quite a while, so...
Yeah, that's correct. Burzy also doing good to not make any mistakes and make all those positions up with the good timing at the pit stop, as he gets a bit squirmy at the penultimate corner.
Now, I mean, Rogue as well. Rogue hasn't really been up there to battle anyone for any great spots until now, so he's done a great job in P4. Kano, I think, when you look at it from a strategy perspective, the way that he went on the enters early and eventually gained him at least 3 or 4 spots, put him into P5. That's been huge.
As Vettel starts his last lap with his teammate Juventus, he's made up to 2 seconds to the group ahead, so it'll be interesting to see whether he can make some last lap moves. And as I think bomb tree has gone off, is Juventus gaining around the outside? Can he make it? He does, but runs a bit wide.
That little wide.
Cost him. As Vettel, who's done a superb drive, lost the lead at the start, got it back. His rival Barad made a mistake at the worst time, and he comes across the line now and wins after a dominant drive in the rain. And Juventus has made the position on Arkaka as Andrew, with a respectable drive, comes up to second, but he has a penalty. What about Burzy? Burzy also has 3 seconds. Rogue, can he jump them? No, he can't. Kano to P5. I think he's done a good job today, like considering. Yeah, he's kept it clean.
Oh, he's lost it out of the last turn a little bit. Lost a little bit of time. Downfall in Juventus race to the line. Oh, Kano with penalties drops down to P8 and still could continue to drop. But yeah, Kano had a lot of penalties. But downfall P5 after getting that penalty spot from Kano holds off Juventus in the end. Juventus P6, Arkaka 7th, Seth 8, P-Dog P9, and Krugerux King wraps up the top 10. And Messi and Bomb Tree battling it out for final spot on the track on the lead lap. Messi gets it for 13th place. So that was the Austrian Grand Prix. I will say, big round of applause for this America's Tier 2. A lot of improvement from everybody, but great win from Fatal, who had the car up front all day, and then when the wet came, he pulled away.
Sort of like Verstappen in the Red Bull, as it's an American 1-2 here in Austria. Clean racing all the way, and yeah, it was an enjoyable race to commentate on.
Burzy with a solid P3 as well, and that was one where it didn't feel like he had the pace, throughout, started 10th, had that struggle in qualifying, was at, at best, mid-pack throughout most of the early part of the race, but yeah, once those mistakes came for the rest of the field, he kept it on the track and takes home a solid 3rd place, and that'll definitely preserve his, lead in the championship. I'm going to quick math some of this. Of course, who did get quickest lap at the end?
It was Juventus on the dry stint.
Juventus, okay.
Kano has 16 seconds of penalties, but I believe he got 10 seconds under the safety car, so he can appeal that and go up to P6, I think. So, are we doing interviews today?
I believe we are.
Okay, let's invite them to the party.
I'll just get the podium. A lot of votes for down for driver of the day, so
it was a
I think we'll probably
good drive for him.
Yeah, I think we'll probably go that direction.
Hey,
So
congrats on the podium, Andrew.
Hey, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Burzy.
Man, you guys had some pace. You guys were in my sights, but you're a little ways away. You guys were motoring.
so as people are entering the party, please make sure your voice is shared.
Oh, yes. Yes. Always allow. Should be good.
So we're just needing Fatal to join the party now.
I think we might as well get started and see if Fatal gets here in a few moments. Start off with Burzy coming home third. Had a little trouble in qualifying. I think you validated your quick lap, so you started a little bit down the order in P10. But it felt like when everybody started to struggle on those dry tires, you were able to keep it on the island, as our friend Lewis Round would say, and ended up coming home at strong third place. Tell us what your race looked like from your perspective.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great place to start is in the qualifying. When I went out on the softs, I don't know if the track was just so cold or what, but like I didn't really set a great time. And then, like you said, I invalid my fast lap, but was able to recover during the race. Had a couple nice overtakes, and yeah, I was able to hang on for those soft tires, and luckily timed it up, so I was able to keep her going right until we hopped onto the intermediates. So it worked out. And then we had there's an unfortunate spin there by Juventus that kind of opened the door for a few of us to kind of get by and whatnot. But yeah.
Yeah, talk about the one pass you had with Rogue into, I believe, turn 4. You had the inside and did a little bit of a slide. How has Dirt Rally made you a better Formula 1 driver?
That's a fantastic question. I love it. Yeah, no, I was able to counter steer and keep the car kind of straight. I thought I was clean there. I was trying not to touch them, but it was with the wet, it was a little unpredictable, especially when you're off that line. It was a little slippery, and I was able to kind of keep the car under control. And he had a great race today too. It was good back and forth that whole time. We were kind of nipping at each other the whole way through, and then was able to just get a couple corners faster and pull away at the end. But yeah, no, it was fun.
It was a big point saving day for you, obviously. Getting P3, nice battle in the rain. Just congrats on the podium, Burzy, and look forward to racing against you tomorrow night.
Awesome, thanks very much. Look forward to it tomorrow night.
All right, let's move on to Andrew. A great P2 finish, as you had the pace to be in the top 3 throughout, Andrew. Just talk us through what you saw and how your preparation for Austria led you for such success today.
Well, for Austria today, I just ran a dry setup. I knew there was going to be weather late, and I put on a lot more downforce when we went on to the intermediates, but I don't know, it's just don't really have a whole lot to say about Austria. It's just like a bunch of straight lines, and I just tried to, hit the apex and avoid penalties as much as I could, because, you can really rack up the penalties here, but once I knew the rain was coming, I decided to make the first stop onto another set of softs, and I thought that if I could get into the pits first to get onto the intermediates, that I'd hopefully have the pace to win, but I had terrible pace, and Fatal had great pace when on the intermediates, putting 10 seconds on me in the last stint, but really happy to bring home P2 after last week dropping down to P4, so yeah, no real serious complaints here. Looking forward to next week.
Yeah, I think it's kind of obvious that Fatal had that rain setup. We were talking about it, I think, during the dry stint about how he had trouble getting around Badhaden, but obviously in the rain he had I think a rain dedicated type setup, so that kind of explains things. But you did a great job again battling on the softs as well, and it's just a little bit unfortunate for you that the rain didn't come maybe a few laps later and given you more time to use those softs after the safety car restart.
Yeah, I'm just glad that the rain came when it did. On the qualifying, we saw that it was going to be at the end of the final stint, so I thought it was going to be coming later, but throughout the race, the engineers were saying that it was coming in a few laps. So I'm just glad that happened, and really glad to bring home a P2. Yeah.
All right. Well, congratulations again, Andrew, for a solid finish, and look forward to seeing what you can do next week at Silverstone.
All right, thank you.
Yeah.
And we'll mention that we will not be able to get Fatal. He's had some mic issues on his own, so do not think he will join us. But again, if you're still tuned in Fatal, congratulations, and look forward to be part of this stream next Wednesday night. So that should pretty much do it. I guess now, any final thoughts from you on your premiere Contest of Speed stream?
It was a very enjoyable race to watch, and yeah, I think some great clean racing all around, chaos, I think, yeah. All in all, it had everything. Yeah, that's all I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot cleaner, I think, than the last 2 weeks, and especially with the qualifying times that we've had with the late soft run. You know, a lot of improvement for a lot of these guys. Driver of the day, we're going to go the way of Downfall. Biggest mover in the race and finished P5. So great job for everybody. Looking forward to tomorrow night, of course, America's Top Tier 1, as they'll wrap up the week in Austria, as well as the lead tier coming up tomorrow afternoon in the U.S., tomorrow night in the UK. I guess I should say tonight in the UK, because it's already Thursday there. All right, that'll wrap things up here on Contest of Speed. Everybody stay tuned for more Formula 1 2019 racing action right here on our Twitch stream, and check out our YouTube as well.